I just took the Amtrak from Union. Okay, already having a coughing fit. So I just got back from my trip down to Jacksonville, Oregon. I took the Amtrak from Union Station to Eugene Station. So Portland, Oregon to Eugene. My brother picked me up in Eugene from the train station. Then we drove to Jacksonville for another 2.5 hours. I just wanted to give my hot off the presses experience with Amtrak for anybody doing it for the first time, because this was literally my first long distance Amtrak train ride, like ever, really. I mean, I've taken them back east, I've taken the train, but nothing this long. So I just wanted to, I don't know, maybe this will answer some questions for people, what it's like, at least riding business. Because I originally was going to take coach, and then I upgraded to business because it was only like 16 bucks. They do like a bidding thing, but then they offer like buy it now for 16 bucks. So I did it, and I have to say it's 100% worth it. So if you have the extra money, I would say go for it, because I barely had anybody in business class. Nobody's sitting next to me. I'm not sure how busy coach gets, but I know it's a little more cramped. The seats are closer. Business is a little more spaced out. But let me go back to, first of all, getting to Union Station, Portland. I live in southeast Portland. So I just took the TriMet bus down 14 down Hawthorne, and then I kept going until I reached downtown, the 6th and Main, I think it is, station, and then I took the yellow or green line down to Union Station. You definitely don't want to park overnight anywhere at Union Station. There's a lot of activity down there and break-ins, so you want to be careful about that. So taking public transit, Uber, a friend, any of those options is great. So TriMet was fine. I didn't have any issues getting there on time. Getting to the station, if you've never been, it's a little confusing. Since it was my first time, I was kind of like, okay, I saw people lining up. So basically, people line up to get to the train. You definitely want to check to make sure that, you know, your train's coming up on the thing. You'll see your train number and if there's any delays. I do recommend also getting the app. That made it a lot easier, because you just put the app. I mean, you can also do email, but you pretty much have to have zero contact with anybody there unless you're really confused. I asked somebody that was there, that was just standing right near the entrance. I just asked him, hey, this is my first time doing this for a while. He was super helpful, really nice. And he told me, oh yeah, everybody's lining up for that train right there now. We're just waiting for it to show up so we can let people onto the track. And then I said, oh, I'm also business class. And he said, oh, they actually have a lounge. So they don't have one at other stations, I don't believe. Eugene didn't have one that I'm aware of, but Portland has a business class lounge. So if you're upgraded, you can go right in. Nobody even stopped me. You just go past the line and go right to the right, and you'll see Metropolitan Lounge. You just go right in there, no questions asked. Nobody said anything. Just go in, and there's a guy sitting at a desk. You show him your app, your ticket, he scans it, and you're checked in at that point. Other than that, you get a second check-in once you get on the plane. Plane? Planes, trains, and automobiles. But let me get back to the lounge. So if you got business class, if you got couch, if you got... Maybe I shouldn't make this video. If you got coach, you wait in the line. If you got business class, you can go right to the lounge, and you get complimentary water, coffee, sodas. They had juice, and they also give you a $3 voucher for the food cart on the train. So once you get, and the guy announces when the train shows up. So you can just hang out there. The guy will be like, oh, the train's coming. And you're typically like the first to go on, but I think they just did it at the same time, because I saw everybody coming out from that line as well. So typically I think business will go on first, but whatever, I don't really care. And I went all the way down to the business cab or train thing, and they have their dedicated cab, and you're covered in a curtain. It's free for all. You pick your seat, whatever you're most comfortable with. They have single row, a row of single sheet seats by the window, so you don't have to sit next to anybody. And then they have maybe like 5 or 6 rows of doubles. So it's like 6 rows altogether, I think. And then they have the food cart. So you're right next to a food cart. You get your own bathroom. Bathroom is actually pretty clean. They keep it pretty tidy. It's very bumpy though. So if you got any sit down business, you might be in for a ride. That's all I'm going to say. But everybody that I like, all the staff was really friendly. Even as we were leaving, the guys outside were like waving. So it was kind of fun. So yeah, wait for everybody to tell you to get on the, once I got on there, pick my seat. Then you're just, I mean, you have 120 volt, 2 plugs per seat. And you get Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi is not great. I ended up actually switching off Wi-Fi a lot of the times because I was trying to like upload, even just uploading like a video to social media or something was taking some time. So I just switched to cell service, which is kind of spotty going from Eugene, Portland to Eugene, but it's still good. I mean, I didn't notice any like times. I have AT&T and I didn't notice any interruptions in service really, but other than it just being slow at times. But even then it was going through fine. Let's see what else. I would say that the seats are very dated in business class, at least. I don't know what coach is like, although I did walk by when I was leaving today and I saw their seats from the window and they look pretty nice. So they might have been upgrading them, but the business class seats seemed like they were straight from the 90s. And they were kind of dirty, like they weren't being cleaned all the time, but it wasn't like terrible. I mean, it was manageable. But I noticed that some had some like drip stains on them from like spills. So they're not, so if you're kind of a clean freak, you may run into some issues, but I don't know. It's one of those things too where you just kind of have to like deal with it. I'm not really like that, so I'm okay with it, but some people that are really sensitive might have that issue. And there are 2 knobs you can recline, and you can also do the footstool. So you have like a recliner that goes back, and then you have a foot stool that pops up from beneath. And that, I did try that, and then I did it, and I looked at it, and it was like covered in spill, some kind of spill. I was like, okay, I'm not using that. But yeah, $3 voucher. I got a $5 breakfast sandwich that had egg, turkey sausage and cheese on an English muffin. Ended up being $2 after using the voucher. And it wasn't the best, but when you're really hungry, I guess. But I don't know, the food's not going to be good. Great. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, there weren't any really interruptions. We arrived on time both ways. It's a nice ride. It's a little bumpy, but it's nothing terrible. Overall, I would do it again. I would definitely ride Amtrak again. I think I'd probably lean towards business class in the future as well. As far as I'm concerned, it's a very streamlined, simple process. There's no need getting stressed out about going to Union Station. I was at first, I was like, oh man, is this going to be annoying and a hassle? But once you get there, it's so simple. I was reading online, a lot of people talk about what time to show up, and a lot of people were saying 15 minutes is fine. Other people were saying like at least 30, and I would lean for the 30, and I'll tell you why. Because 15 minutes, sure, but if you're not used to traveling, you want to give yourself as much time as possible, because that 15 minutes goes like that, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, where am I supposed to be? And what happened with me on the Eugene to Portland trip, I was just hanging out with my brother and his wife, and it got to be my train was at 4:30, and it got to be 4:08, and I was like, okay, we should probably head to the station, because we were just hanging out down the road, and we walked there. I got there at like Was it 4:08? Yeah, it was about 4:08. Probably got there at like 4:15, and they were already boarding. And and by the time I was started to look, and I looked up at the board, I was like, oh, they're boarding already. So the train was already there for like even before I had got there. So that's something to consider. So I would err on the side of caution, because if they get there early, and I'm sure they wouldn't have left until 4:30. I don't think they would leave early, but you never know. I think I've seen that some people say they have left early, or they'll be late. So I mean, I'd rather them be late than leave early. So it's always good to be cautious when traveling. I know a lot of people are used to getting there at certain times, and they've never had that issue probably, but personally, I'd like to just be cautious about that. So I would recommend, if I was going to give a recommendation, a half an hour is probably a good time to get there. Um, Even if you're just waiting for a little bit, it's always good to be cautious, I think. But yeah. Plus, even if you're traveling from a distance, and let's say you leave to get there at that 15-minute early time, what if something happens on the way there and you're like, oh crap, I should have given myself more time. So you just never know. But overall, the experience was very positive. I didn't notice any issues. I'm sure there are days where it's super busy. But as far as I'm concerned, if I ever wanted to go down there again, I'd do it. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I'm sure I'll add some stuff in post if I think of it, but that's it. That's 13 minutes. That's long enough. So go out there, take a train ride, have some fun. It's a lot less, there I go. It's a lot less stressful than driving too. It's a lot less stressful than flying, in my opinion, because you feel less trapped. You can move around more freely. You're grounded, and you can bring your own food and all this stuff, which you can do on flying. But I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a more pleasant experience in some ways. Um, yeah, I liked it. It's pretty relaxing. I definitely am glad I didn't drive. That's for sure, because you don't have to like, you just do whatever you want. Just put on a movie, put on a podcast, read a book. I'm not really good at reading stuff when I'm moving, but yeah, I I recommend. Take it as you is. This is my opinions and entertainment advice, non educational entertainment, so I don't get in trouble with the YouTube authority, Territarians. Peace be with you. Take care. Stay safe. Eat pizza. My slime.